The ball is soft, and many batters hate this. They like it when it comes on, rebounding from their blade and not losing any pace. But then in comes the king of the softball. Like Shivnarine Chanderpaul before him, he matches the lack of energy from the ball with a healer's soft hands. His bat is completely and utterly dead. And so is the hope in the bowler's heart. If you want him out after the 40th over, a crowbar won't do. You need dynamite. India's lead has edged over 200. A milestone it looked like it would comfortably pass earlier. But India has bad light and a swinging ball, and suddenly it's really tough again. It's an entirely different type of cricket, and with 5 batters out, England finds life. But then in comes the number 7. He was a bowler and good at his job. But then he assembled the bits and pieces of his game, and they made him bat higher. His job was no longer just to bowl, now it was to save the batters as well. And yet again, he had to do his job and everyone else's. Shepherd his wayward flock through the long-forgotten back half of every innings, prowling the Badlands and taking down one old pill at a time. Ravindra Jadeja is the king of the softball. Brian Lara used pot plants to work on his placement. John Wright glued his glove to his bat. Sachin Tendulkar dug up practice pitches. Tatenda Taibu cut the top off his bat. Claire Taylor used a hockey grip. Steve Smith was from tennis. Dean Jones would call phantom runs, and Victor Trumper turned the nets into a war zone to survive. The best batters in the world do whatever they have to make runs. We have told their stories in our new book, The Art of Batting. Mohammad Siraj was out after middling the ball, and India lost that test at Lord's. After Nitesh Reddy's dismissal, India were 81 runs away from the target. Siraj said that if they'd lost by 80, it would have been fine. But a loss that close was heartbreaking. That it even got to that situation was mainly down to Ravi Jadeja. Only AB de Villiers and Daryl Mitchell have faced more deliveries batting at 6 or lower in a test match in England in the 21st century. If you just take the 4th innings, his 181 ball effort ranks 4th. England beat India, but they didn't beat Jadeja. People lauded him for his gritty effort, yet also some thought that he batted too slow and didn't take enough chances. They criticised his game sense, and a few were disappointed that he could not pull off a Ben Stokes at Headingley 2019 style. And it wasn't just fans on social media. Even Ravi Shastri, his former coach, said if Jadeja has 40% of the belief of Stokes, he would win more matches. He added that it wasn't about talent, but more about just him taking charge. However, unlike his English counterpart, Jadeja doesn't enjoy batting in the 4th knot. Even after an unbeaten 61, he still only averages 21.4. Stokes is up at 37. It's not that Jadeja can't whack the ball, because we've seen him do that early on in his career and certainly at the death in white ball cricket. But at Lord's, this was a wicket where others were struggling to even hit the ball off the square. England set the field back very deep, and even the 60 hit kept the boundary rider interested right until the end. The shape of Lord's also made 2s very difficult as well. And let's face it, Jadeja and Stokes are very different kinds of test batters. Over their whole careers, Stokes has been better with the bat than Jadeja. But on current form, you'd easily pick Ravi. But once we factor in their bowling value across conditions, it's not really a debate. But when it comes to batting, Jadeja is a weird choice for number 7 because he's never been great while batting with the tail. He is really set up to support a top order player. This knock was one of the best innings partnering with the Rabbits he's ever had. It certainly helped that Jasprit Bumrah and Siraj were able to face 14 overs between themselves. But here is a man who now has 5 50-plus scores in 6 innings, batting on day 5, and he almost got his team over the line once and secured a draw from a very tricky situation in another game. Only 3 players have made more runs than him in this series. He's outscored every English batter so far. Ravi Jadeja, the all-rounder, has started getting his due for the world-class player he's been for more than a minute now. But his batting overseas has clearly gone to another level. 11 years ago, Ishant Sharma bounced out English batters to win India a test at Lord's. At that time, India were really struggling in overseas matches, so it really hit with fans. Bhuvi Kumar, Ajinkya Rahane and Murali Vijay all had their moments in that game. But amongst all of that, there's one knock that's a little bit forgotten. When Jadeja walked out to bat, India were effectively 179 for 6 in the third innings. He smacked his first Test half-century, scoring 68 off just 57 balls. He was quicker than 100 strike rate against Broad, Anderson and Liam Plunkett. After the knock, Shane Warne said on Sky, he's been underachieving with the bat. He can bat, but he's been a bit lazy. And it's nice to see him come out and play his shots today and show everyone how he can actually play. However, it was just a flash of brilliance in an otherwise unremarkable series for the Indian all-rounder. Moeen Ali dismissed him thrice that summer. And in his first 13 innings across South Africa, New Zealand and England, the slower bowlers of all people got him out on 5 different occasions. 4 of those were off-spinners. You might think that he got out trying to attack them, but it was actually the defensive shots. That is definitely a bit odd for someone with 3 triple centuries in domestic cricket and also more than a little bit of experience facing spin growing up. And maybe it was just dumb luck, but it meant that he did not have great returns with the bat at that point. After that series, Jadeja did not play in India's next 11 tests in SENA countries. He was unavailable for some due to injury, but he was also just not chosen for a bunch of others. India had this incredible player, but he wasn't fully formed. He was like Groot from the end of the first Guardians of the Galaxy film. Everyone knew what he could do, but he hadn't actually grown into that yet. India played R. Ashwin and Hardik Pandya in the first 4 tests in England in 2018. But Jadeja finally got an opportunity for the 5th match, which was also here at the Oval. By now he was one of India's 2 most important players in Asia. But this was his chance to prove his worth when India were in trouble, 160 for 6 in response to England's 332. That's when Jadeja scored his 2nd half-century in England. He got an unbeaten 86 as India finished with 292 runs, and he also took 7 wickets in the match. That game changed India's plan, and he goes from being an outsider to being the fulcrum of the team. Including that match, he has 1,254 runs in 36 innings at an average of over 43 in SENA. His strike rate, however, has dipped from 69 in the first 13 innings to a shade under 50 in this duration. This suggests that he has found his true batting style of protecting his wicket like a Secret Service agent does the president. He also went from being a walking wicket to averaging over 95 against the turning ball. No left-arm finger spinner or leggy has been able to send him back to the pavilion. That's a lot more what you would expect for someone who grew up against this kind of bowling. But against the quicks, he averages around 35 with a strike rate of 50. Back then, his runs per dismissal was around 31, but he smashed the ball at a strike rate of over 70. So his approach against seam has also been a lot more about staying in rather than hitting out. And this is now what we think of with Jadeja. His batting is stern with self-imposed limits, like a recovering alcoholic with a clear path to sobriety. India are rolled over for 36, and Virat Kohli is back home on paternity leave. India take a bold move. They replace their star batter with an ace spin bowling all-rounder. It's when you really see India believing in him consistently as their number 7. He had batted there 5 times in the 2014 tour of England, but after, they mainly used him at 8 until this series. He makes 57 at the MCG and 28 not out at the SCG. So he's now a permanent fixture in India's top order for the overseas matches. The only Indian batter who gets more starts, scores of 20 plus, while batting in the top 7 is Rishabh Pant. And only the wicketkeeper has a higher median runs as well, while KR is completely equal. When we look at median balls per dismissal, obviously Pujara is in a different league. But Rahul, Bahari and Jadeja are all in the mid-50s. His numbers completely hold up. On the road, his best run with the bat has come in England. Of course, some of that is because of the wickets he's played on. But this is where his impact is really fully felt. And although Rahul is an opener, they both play the ball very late and with soft hands. While Rahul's overall game is simply better, the way Jadeja plays makes perfect sense as to why he's been that good in England. He's obviously also incredible against the softball. In the Bazball era, few batters, even including England, had been as effective as him from overs 41 to 80. Daryl Mitchell and Ben Foakes have 280 and 85 runs without getting out. Apart from those two, only Shubman Gill and Tom Blundell have better averages than Jadeja. Naturally, the home batters have a much higher sample size, and batting has certainly got easier in this phase. But even then, Jadeja's record just completely sticks out. When the air goes out of the ball in England, he is the man you want. And he has gone up against Stokes the most in this period, scoring 58 runs from him. This is two legendary all-rounders of our era going straight at each other in their pomp. This is the period when other players go and hide. Stokes is like a beast with the old ball, trying to do anything he can to break through, while Jadeja is sitting at the other end, chewing on some straw and keeping his gun in his holster until he needs it. Stokes doesn't get beat much, but he can't get Jadeja. In the summer of 2022, India are in England to play the 5th test of the series that started the previous year. But lots of things have changed. Stokes and McCullum have taken over the England side. Virat Kohli and Ravi Shastri aren't around. The opening duo of Rohit Sharma and KL Rahul, which was a big reason for their actual success, also isn't available. India are batting first, but they're in massive trouble at 98 for 5. Jadeja walks into bat in only the 28th over, but he makes a brilliant 104 against an attack of Anderson, Broad, Potts, Stokes and Leach, bailing India out of trouble with Rishabh Pant. They don't actually win that test, but it's this partnership that gives them the first innings lead. Since the 2018 Oval Test, Jadeja averages 27 when he's into bat in the first 40 overs of matches. It just doesn't suit his game. He was always a late order man and he built his test success around that. But it doesn't help as much early in the innings. But after the 40th over, his average jumps to 55. However, in England, he has come in early 6 times and he's made that century at Edgbaston and also the effort at Lord's. But it is true that one of the reasons why Jadeja has been really good in England is because a majority of his knocks have come in the later part of the innings. That's when the top order have done their job and Jadeja mops up the rest. Playing late, defending with soft hands, looking for singles. Smart, but limited batting. It doesn't always mould to the situation needed. It's not fluid, it's solid. But while he's great later on, remember that in England, the ball moves for a long time. If we look at the innings where the team's runs per wicket was under 30, in England since the Oval in 2018, Jadeja has scored 394 runs in 9 innings and an average of 56. That includes 1 century and 3 more scores north of 50. Clearly, he's shown that he can handle a crisis when he's batting there. So these are not soft runs. It just takes a warrior's mastery of soft hands and balls to get them done. India lost their 5th wicket in the 55th over today, exactly when Jadeja wants to bat. The ball was swinging and it was tough for a little while, but he fought through it, as he kind of always does. When Jaiswal was out, he overcame any wobble there as well. Him and Jarrod continued the good work, and he pushed that lead over 300. But then something he didn't like happened. England took the second new ball, and for 10 deliveries, he was pretty good. But then one seemed a lot, and the next ball he played an open-face guide to one from tongue, and he found Brook at second slip. He'd made his 50, ensured a proper lead, and now he'd leave the rest to his understudy and partner, Washington Sundar. It would be unfair to say job done. However, India still needed some guidance, and again, Jadeja went past 50. When Brook took that catch though, it was the first time England had dismissed him in the second innings of this series. India may yet draw or lose, who knows? But no matter what the final result is, England will know the softball belongs to Ravi Jadeja.
Ross Taylor couldn't see at night or when the clouds were in. Eventually he had to see an eye specialist who would fix his eyesight. In the 2 years before the change, he still averaged more than 50 in international cricket. The top level of batting talent can basically see in the dark. That is who we are talking about in our new book, The Art of Batting. Head over and order your copy today.